Hi, my name's Shane, and today I'm going to show you how to clean a newly created station on BrightHub. So, first off, let's log in and let's navigate to that newly created station that we have in Pakistan. And we jump to the cleaning tab. First off, BrightHub loads all of the historical data associated with this station into the back of the browser. That's almost 2 years of data, and it does it fast. Next, what we want to do is we want to visualize that data either on time series plots or scatter plots to see and look for outliers and problems within that data set. First off, for the time series plot, one of the most important things to analyze is the wind speed. Let's plot some wind speeds. First off, we go to select data, we look for speed. Next, let's also add some data to the scatter plot for wind speed. Select data here, and let's again look for speed. Top two 80-meter anemometers. And finally, it'd be worthwhile also looking at direction on a time series plot. So now we're visualizing all 2 years of the wind speed and wind direction data across these 3 different plots. So let's try and reduce this down to a time period which is more manageable for us to clean. So using this green bar, we can zoom in on a particular time frame. We're looking at the first 8 days. And if you notice, when we zoom in on this green bar, it zooms in on all 3 graphs together. So we're looking at the first 8 days of wind speed and the first 8 days of wind direction on all 3 plots. Also in the top right here, you have the option to turn on and off different anemometers or different variables. And this really helps when you're trying to zoom in on a particular problem, especially when, say, instruments are at the same height when the lines may overlap on the graph. In addition, what we want to do is we want to look for issues. So here at the start, we can see straight away that in the initial part of the measurement period, all instruments were measuring 0, and then they jump up to measuring something in reality. Next, we can pan through the data using these buttons here, pan left or pan right. This will allow us to pan through the data in specific time chunks, similar to what we had in the first graph. It's panning 8 days at a time in this regard. We can also use the more general pan if we want to drag the graph for a shorter period of time. And there's also additional functionality to zoom in as needed. So let's just pan back to the start of the data set. There's also one other additional function, this line here. This allows us to shrink the time series and, say, increase the scatter plot. So here you can see the scatter plots increase. So if you wanted to get a bigger zoom on that, you can do so. Or if you want to, snap that to the side and remove the scatter plot altogether, you can do that, and it takes the scatter plot away from your view. Well, let's bring the scatter plot back in. So next we want to look at cleaning some data. So here you can see straight away that all of the anemometers are 0 in the initial stage of the measurement campaign. This is the classic situation that usually occurs during the logger setup period or the installation period. We want to clean that data out because it's invalid data. So to do so, we go to the box select button and we highlight the data. Next, we click on Add Cleaning. So there are multiple reasons for cleaning. In this case, it's installation, so click on Installation. You also have the ability to link it to an issue if you've created an issue in the issue log for this particular problem. In this case, we have the installation period. And then you can add additional instruments to that cleaning that may not have been highlighted in the graph as needed. In this case, because it's the installation period, we want to highlight all instruments on the mast. Now, you can see that data has been cleaned out. If you ever want to see the data that's been cleaned out, you can just click the Invalid Data button here at the top left, and straight away we can see in pink the data that was removed. It's also shown up here on the scatter plot in the little pink bubbles. What is BrightHub doing as we're cleaning? Well, it's compiling a cleaning log. So if we scroll to the bottom here, we can see what it's actually doing is for every time we do some cleaning on those graphs, it's recording the measurement name that's been cleaned and the date from and date to, the reason why it's been cleaned, and if it's associated with a particular issue. Why is it doing this and how does it work? Well, in BrightHub, we believe in storing only one version of the truth, which is the raw time series data. Then, when we're cleaning, we're building up a cleaning log, as was shown here, and we keep them separate. And then when we want to create a clean data set, we merge them on the fly to create a clean data set in the moment. And why do we do this? Well, this is to stop any potential inconsistencies occurring in your cleaned datasets. As an example, Think of a time when you pick up an assessment, you do an EYA, you do your detailed cleaning of your data, detailed analysis, you apply your slope and offsets, you maybe do some timestamp offset adjustments, and then you do your analysis. You store down that data, and 2 years later you come back, you've got some new data you want to add to that data set. Maybe your documentation wasn't that good, maybe you can't remember what exactly you did. You pick up that data set again, you want to add the new data to it, but you can't remember what you did to the first stage of the data. So unfortunately, you've got to go back to square one and clean everything again from scratch, get new cleaning and new adjustments, and you're repeating that work again because you didn't have a firm, clear idea of what you did previously. With BrightHub, by keeping just one version of the truth and keeping a separate cleaning log, all you're doing is adding to that cleaning that you did previously and then merging those two together to create your clean data set on the fly as and when you need it, having complete traceability with your data at all times. That's what's key with BrightHub. In addition, we will be adding a range of new features to BrightHub Cleaning Tool in the coming months. This will include being able to plot reference data from a nearby Error 5 or Mirror 2 node on the time series graph in conjunction with your raw data. Equally, we will be adding the functionality to plot a nearby MetMast or LiDAR that's also stored on BrightHub as a reference on your time series plots. Separately, we'll also be looking to implement cleaning rules, which will allow you to clean data based on specific logic that you specify. So, to hear more about new additions to BrightHub in the coming months, please make sure to follow Brightwind on LinkedIn.